Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Moon here from End of 3 Fitness, and welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. We're keeping it simple, but never easy. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. We have Nick Gomez. How's it going, Nick?
Great.
Yeah, so we're going to get started right away, man. We're learning a little bit more about who you are. Can you give us some of the basic intro stuff? So what do you do? How do you train? All that good stuff.
So I live here in Green River, Wyoming. I'm a production supervisor for a chemical plant here in southwest Wyoming. I mostly do all my training in my garage. Whenever I can go to a local box, I will, just because I got friends and just to go and work out and stuff. But that's kind of the short and sweet version of me.
Yeah, man. So we've talked a few times before. So you're kicking it with shift work, right?
Yes, sir.
What's that like?
Rough.
Pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work a rotating shift of a four split, 3 off, 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 3 off, 4 on, 7 off.
Wow.
Whew.
That's intense, man. And the reason I like to bring it up is because some people might have excuses, you know, like a long work day or whatever. But I think battling with shift work brings it to a whole new level. But you're still able to get it done, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's kind of, prioritizing goals and what you really want, and something I really am excited about. Yeah.
So tell us about your garage gym setup. I can kind of see it there in the background. Looks awesome. What do you have? What's your equipment breakdown?
So I'll just kind of zoom in. I got a rower that I got off for regionals this year. That was pretty cool. The GHD Airdyne that I got for like $20 on Craigslist. Treadmill, weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, horse stall mats, just rings. I've got a pretty cool little setup here up in my roof where I put my rope to do rope.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It's like going up into a mine shaft.
Yeah, it kind of gets that way. There's no light, so once you go up, there's no real truth if you're coming down or not.
So you actually have to throw your wall ball up into that box.
Yeah, there's actually a box, and I made a little wood plank there with a line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, accuracy is part of fitness, right?
Oh, definitely, especially if you got splinters coming down your face.
Dude, I love that. So what was it? Well, let's first talk about the weather, man. What's the weather like?
It's pretty mild now, so we're like right in the 40 to 50 degree weather. Just that's autumn weather here.
And awesome weather.
We're only gonna have it for like 2 weeks, and then it's gonna get into negatives and zeros and freezing.
So what do you do? Yeah, we're gonna have the same question. What do you do when it gets that cold in the garage?
So that's kind of why I set up the garage the way it is, because I wanted to still be able to train and run and do like aerobic and anaerobic stuff while it's negative 30 outside. So I've insulated my garage well enough, and I have a couple of heaters in here that work really well. This is actually going to be an experimental year this year, where I've actually have a gas stove this year. The last couple, I've just been using like a couple of space heaters, which I put on the bar to keep my hand from sticking onto the bar.
Yeah. I've heard of people's skin actually getting attached to the barbell when it's cold enough to do so.
Yeah, I've done that last year with the back squats. Normally I can just close, but I had my hands on the bar, did whatever sets I had to do, put it back on the rack, and when I went to pull back, oh no.
Oh man,
Oh,
that's
Wifey, help.
dude. I love it. I love your perspective because we've talked to a lot of different garage gym athletes so far, and I think you got the coldest climate of anyone we've spoken to so far. And
yeah, that's rough.
so Nick is getting it done with shift work and freezing cold temperatures in his garage, just eliminating everyone else's BS excuses out there. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what started you down the garage gym path? Why do you have a garage gym, and why do you think it's important?
So originally, I had some weird health issues. Like I never was really over a buck 100 like in high school, but I was always athletic, like sports and stuff. And then as I had my little girl, my first kid, I kind of started eating like crap, and I was doing the typical bodybuilder stuff. You know, kind of I think that's the story of everybody doing stuff like this. And about last year, after I took this new job position, I was still smoking cigarettes, and I was drinking lots of sodas. I was working out when I could, just at a gym, a normal 24-hour gym. I had a blood pressure of 180 over 120.
Oh wow.
And it kind of freaked me out. So I did some doctor stuff. They tested me for diabetes, and I was like, oh man, I gotta do something. So I was really bummed out for, I don't know, like a couple months, and then my wife got me into CrossFit, and it was just kind of some of the other friends that just went to the local box here, which is cool. It got me back into a good path, and I kind of, my whole reason for doing that and for making this change was just for my kids. I just wanted to play with my kids and, not have to lay on the ground after shift work, not being able to move. And so going through that path, I was kind of having to wait for a class time, like at 6:15 after I got off work after a 12-hour shift. So I was having to wait for a class to start and then have to do a class at, for an hour. So I wasn't getting home until like 8 or 9, and my kids were already going to sleep. And I was like, well, I think I'm missing the point here. I'm missing the point of being active with my kids. So I decided, let's just do it in the garage. If anything, they can come in here with me, and, we can interact. And, there's more of a sense of being a part of this than rather just me taking them to, like a gym and just having them sit in their little, kid box.
Right.
Watching TV. I mean, this whole thing, turned around is like now my kids are doing something. My daughter did, her Spartan race this year just because she was in here with me, just training. Nice. And, having a good experience. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to do this garage gym athlete program, was because it was more home. It was something that I wanted to be. That's
really cool, man. I think that's a huge motivator. It's making a lot more sense. You have it. It's cold. You have shift work, but you're getting it done anyway. It's because your why, the reason why you're doing everything, is so gigantic. I think that's a really important thing when you're going after any kind of goal. You kind of mentioned what you were doing before this training. You say what you were doing, bodybuilding type stuff. Is that kind of your fitness prior to this?
Most of it was, I'm from Texas, so actually this whole cold climate's really still acclimating with me. I've almost been here 10 years and it's still not completely used to it. But yeah, I mean, it was mostly, I did football through high school and junior high, and then I did track. And then towards the end of my later years, I tore my ACL, and I was just kind of rehabbing through stuff. And I did ROTC, and I boxed a whole bunch. And then after college, I did some intramural stuff, but not really a whole lot. It wasn't until about when I was about 20, 21, I started doing some more stuff in the gym, which was, I didn't know. It was mostly just picking up Men's Health or looking at an app and, following the splits, your back and your biceps, your triceps, and your chest and stuff like that. And I talked to a couple of nutritionists where I was doing, the whole high carb, no carb, low carb days and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Which wasn't really like me, I like running, I like competing, being a part of teams and stuff like that. So that whole bodybuilding thing just wasn't my tea. So I was going to like a 24-hour fitness and just mostly just wasting an hour listening to music.
Right. And I want to talk about specifically, you, as we talked about, we've talked on Skype, just you and I a few times recently, the Red Bull 400.
Yes.
If you could tell everybody listening what that is, and then also kind of about your experience.
Yeah, so Red Bull puts on these festival type experiences and competitions, and this was in Park City, Utah, at the Olympic Training Center. They have mostly for Winter Olympic sports, which was cool, by the way. Like there was like guys jumping into pools, doing their snowboarding stuff. That was kind of distracting, just trying not to watch that. But the Red Bull 400 essentially is running 400 meters from the base of the ski slope, like their ski jump. I'm not really sure what it's called. And you run up straight up the hill for 400 meters. It's a very, very painful race.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones you don't really see often as far as like a hill climb for time or stuff like that. And there's tons of people. There's like 400 people there just to race. There's for that day. And yeah, I mean, going up the ski slope was fun, and they have kind of grading and netting you can hold on to, but it was definitely slick. It wasn't like grass running up there. It was something people ski down, so running up is counterintuitive. Oh yeah, and that was pretty cool. It was definitely a challenge, something that I wasn't trying out my first year. I didn't know what to expect, and wasn't really, not saying that I wasn't prepared for it, because I think this strength and conditioning program actually gets you in that right mental state, just to kind of tackle it and don't really go for it, which is really, really fun. And trying that again, I'm definitely gonna do it again next year. So I don't know if people were close to the area in Park City, Utah. It's always something to try out.
Yeah, man, it sounds go ahead, Joe.
I think I would have extra motivation to want to finish first in that, not just to finish first, but in case anybody in front of you rolls down the hill, they're taking everybody out.
Oh, dude, and it happened. There was a couple of guys. I just looked back, and it was like one guy took out 4 other guys, and then cascaded down.
Oh wow!
They were able to get back up, and all these guys are pretty lighthearted, so it wasn't like super pissed that they took people out. But I mean, you didn't want to be in the lane of a body coming at you.
Yeah.
I bet your legs just fill with blood, and then after that, you're just trying to move them forward, like moving.
Oh yeah, there's a sticking point about the 200 meter mark where it's just like, well, you're up here, you really can't, go down.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's certain, you got to take your longer strides or whatever. But like I said, like my calves got like crazy fired up with the Achilles, just constantly having tension on them. But yeah, it was super fun.
That's awesome, dude. I'm interested in trying that. I actually saw a video about it a while back, and then you told me you're doing it. You're the first person I've actually talked to who's done it. It sounds like it's a fun, nice little race. Very challenging but short and fun, but also brutal at the same time.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Opinions of fun differ. All right, dude. So give me your biggest struggle, because you gotta, being a garage gym athlete cannot be easy. Everyone has their own struggle, but what would you say your biggest struggle in being a garage gym athlete is?
Well, I think it's actually working with shift work. It's not so much. It's every day you work. You're working a 12-hour shift. You're coming home. You're tired. But it's something as soon as you get in and step in, and putting your hands on a bar, that's the hardest part. Once you get there and once you can have your mindset as like, okay, I'm ready to do this all day, and you're reading the workout. You're kind of psyching yourself out a little bit, whenever you have the time to get in there. But I think the biggest part is actually, putting your shoes on and putting your hands on the bar or whatever it is, whatever machine you're working on, and moving forward.
I think in your case, if you put your hands on that bar, you might just stick there anyway, and
yeah,
you have to do something with it.
Keep working.
Yeah, until it heats up. That's great. All right, man. So, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
Fran.
Oh. That one's pretty brutal.
It never gets easier. It's just one of those ones that just, even if you say it's not hard, it always gets harder.
Yeah, because
you're not doing it right.
You either get fitter and then you just have to go faster. There's no fun to that one at all. There's a new, more on fun. I don't think that one's fun. That one's never fun.
That was definitely not fun.
Yeah. All right. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I think a lot of it, for me, at least, I'm out here, is if you have something, and this is going back to programming, and this is something that I think you can just put out for whatever, is really acclimating to your weather. Because that, for me, was the hardest thing, just even putting on multiple layers of clothes and stepping out. I intentionally, program or follow your program through running. It was like, if it's really, really crappy outside, I have snow shoes. You can do something in the run. Don't put yourself in danger or anything, but you really kind of find out what you're made of when you take first 100 steps of your running and you hit that peak of this is really cold. This is something that I shouldn't be used to. But that's it. You shouldn't be used to it. You should just keep pushing, and you really find yourself, I think, with that, because no matter how far you travel out, you still got to come back home. And how much are you willing to come home, and how much are you willing to get out of your head and put yourself through that? So cold running.
Yeah, cold running. with his shirt off, increase at a level there. That's intense,
Burpees
man.
in the snow.
Yeah. All right, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
See, I did think hard about this one because, a barbell usually seems to be like the answer to go to. But for me, like when I was just doing stuff in my living room for a while when I lived at a mobile home, when I was first getting started with all this, career and life stuff, it was always a kettlebell. Kettlebell always was like the thing to go to. No matter what you could do, you could always do some kind of circuit training or strength stuff. And I really, really like kettlebells.
Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of the kettlebell. Joe loves kettlebell.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, Joe, I'll let you ask him your equipment question, and then I'll round it off with some advice.
So I see you have a bunch of equipment at your gym now, but if there was a top of the wish list, one thing that if someone dropped off at your house, or if you could just have a limited space or budget, what would that top of the your wish list be? I think I know for your gym personally.
Maybe a reverse hyper.
Yeah, reverse hyper.
You got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny that Joe always makes fun of me because I was like, this is like the most, I don't know, it was like one of the first things I bought as far as like big equipment purchases. And
Well, I've actually thought about it. It was a toss between this GHD and getting reverse hyper. I was like, well, I think I can do more with the GHD now, but I always really wanted one.
yeah,
Just for lower back stuff.
yeah, GHD that's my wish list answer to that question, but I should get one soon enough. But the reverse hyper, man, it's an awesome machine. It's really good. All right.
Bend over a truck tire like you did.
Yeah. I had my own types for a while, but I got the legit thing now. All right. So there are going to be a lot of garage gym athletes listening to this podcast, and you've been a garage gym athlete for a while. You've had your own struggles and successes in the gym. So what would be your best advice for garage gym athletes out there?
I think really just, trusting whatever program you do, whatever it is, and really committing towards it. And by committing, know your why, know what you're doing it for, why you want to do it. Is it just to put better pants on, to look cool? Is it for your kids, for your family, for moving forward? I think any kind of progress you make is always going to be something detrimental. Like back when I first started, I couldn't even do an overhead squat with a 35-pound bar onto a med ball, and that was something, looking back on, is just any kind of progress you make, just look forward to it. Don't make don't look ahead too far. The small progresses are always going to add up.
I love that. All right, dude. That's all I have. Joe, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Nick, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been an absolute blast speaking with you, and I can't wait to get this published and let all the other garage gym athletes hear it, man.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.